we are going to discuss about one of the very important topic. And as I told you that this topic is so important that you can utilize. Yes, good evening, Monica. Thank you. And this topic is so important that if you are adopting all the principles and practices of Ayurveda, you can naturally move toward better health and greater happiness. And I want to give you some introduction about this. This is one of the first one of the YouTube live, and in this YouTube live, I will be covering 20 to 24 sessions like this. So all these sessions are part of the premium trainings that will be available to the clients. But when you are attending it live, you can definitely go through all this material and you can ask your query and I will be able to reply it. So we start about this topic. So the first thing that you need to know that this is about adopting Ayurveda in daily life. How can you adopt Ayurveda in your daily life? We will be covering lot many things and you will be learning about some principles, some insights, some practices that will be very easy and practical for you to adopt. So one of the questions, or you can say there are tons of questions about this topic. How can I adopt Ayurveda? What is Ayurveda? What is the best way to move with Ayurveda when I am having some chronic disorder? So there might be tons of questions about it, and we will be taking care of these in all these sessions. So you have to first know something about Ayurveda, some of the key factors that are related with Ayurveda. And one of the fundamental aspect of Ayurveda is what you see in this picture. So as you can see in this picture, that all the arrows, all the directions, they are pointing toward you. They are pointing toward a particular person or a particular family. And this is one of the central, one of the most fundamental aspect of Ayurveda. Ayurveda is always person centric. When you are adopting Ayurveda, you will find that all of its principles and practices, they are meant for you. You can validate them. Whatever is your age, whatever is the condition of your disease, wherever you are living, whatever is your diet and lifestyle, you can adopt Ayurvedic principles in a very practical way in your daily life, and you can move toward better health or toward healing and cure of some chronic disorder. So this is very important consideration about Ayurveda. Next one, many persons they think that Ayurveda is merely about some of the dosas, we call them Vata, Pitta, Kapha, or just having some home remedies or herbal remedies, or you can have cooking methods based upon Ayurveda. There can be routines, daily routines and seasonal routines. Some people think Ayurveda synonymous with massage, panchkarma, detox, or different types of herbal teas or body mind type. These are simply some of the elements of Ayurveda. This is not, any one of these is not Ayurveda in its own. These are some of the elements, and gradually, if you incorporate some of the modern elements like modern nutrition, these concepts can be easily accommodated in Ayurvedic principles and practices. And this is the beauty actually, that Ayurveda is much more in depth than all of these individual systems, practices, rituals, whatever you call them, or practices simply. Next one, whenever you are dealing with Ayurveda, you have to remember 3 or 4 words. These are experiential. One, that you can experience. Other three are aspects of Ayurveda: holistic, integrated, and streamlined. So all the four are very important when you want to adopt Ayurveda, when you want to move with Ayurveda. So first we will discuss about the experiential. What does it mean? It simply means something that you can experience within your own body and mind. In this way, you will be able to self validate these. So, for example, you can consider some of the qualities of the herbs. You are taking amla fruit. It is pacifying vata and kapha. So when you take the juice, and if you are having some hyperacidity or nausea or vomiting tendency, you get some relief in those. And when you are having some vata problems or degenerative changes in your body, and you take amla for certain period of time, and you start to feel benefit out of it. And you can take the word experiential with any of the Ayurvedic elements. You are taking some herbal powder, you are having some massage, it is very relaxing, very much rejuvenating. So whatever elements, whatever things you want to consider, dietary items, lifestyle factors, herbal remedies, or detox, whatever measures you are considering in context of Ayurveda, you can know that you can experience it, and you will be able to self validate it. And this is very beautiful thing about Ayurveda. And another aspect of Ayurveda is holistic. Many times we think that what is holistic? Holistic in relation with Ayurveda is that we are a dynamic composite of body, senses, mind, and awareness. So you can definitely say that Ayurveda is both body and mind medicine. This is very simplistic way of telling about Ayurveda. Then you can also say Ayurveda is body, mind, and consciousness based system. And definitely here one key aspect is senses. Most of the systems of traditional health or holistic well-being, these are ignoring the significance and role of sense organs in your health, and these are very important. Whenever you want to adopt some particular practice, when you want to have some new habit, it becomes very important to control or to manage your senses. It becomes very, very important, and it helps you to move faster in a more integrated way toward a particular system or discipline when you have some sense of control over senses, or you are simply more aware of the sensual well-being. It is, remember this word, just I am using the word sensual in almost another context. Sensual means related with the senses here. So this holistic is another aspect of Ayurveda. And if we move, there are two words: integrated and streamlined. Integrated means when there are many parts of things, there are many just aspects or different parts, and these become together a system. These become an integral system, a functional system, a streamlined system. And this is what our body and mind truly is. So if you consider yourself, we are not body, we are not even some set of organs, we are not some set of muscles, tissues, all that. We are not even our mind, mental functioning. We are not the eyes that are perceiving the visual data. So we are an integral being of all those elements, and these are very much streamlined. If you have some, just if someone is pricking you with a pin on your finger, you are able to sense it. When you have some like mental health issue or low mood or some anxiety or nervousness, it affects your whole body. When you have some infection in gastrointestinal tract, it affects the local organs, as well as you have some impact of it all over the body on your mind. So we are very much an integrated and streamlined being, and we have all these modalities: the body, senses, mind, and awareness. These are our part. These are our true and intrinsic nature. This is what it, it is meant by the word integrated and holistic in context with Ayurveda. Next, as I told you, that there will be a series of YouTube live, and I believe that there can be 20 to 24 different sessions, and each one can be 30 minutes to 45 minutes, or maybe slightly longer if we are having some questions and answer. So you can access it on YouTube Live, whether you are a email newsletter subscriber or you are just a YouTube subscriber. You will be able to access these trainings here during the YouTube Live and for some more hours after it. And all other clients who are just paid clients or who are receiving Ayurvedic treatment from me, they will be able to access this complete training inside the membership area at live.ayurvedamentor.net. And definitely, this will be a very premium training. It will be costing a lot when it will be complete, but right now you can have your feedback, you can interact with me as I am just developing it. I'm putting some of the concepts before you. So what this training will have, it will have some of the golden nuggets of well-being from Ayurvedic wisdom. When I'm saying golden nuggets of well-being, you can consider there will be lot of principles, fundamental principles, practices, pointers or guidelines, or you can say them just like a compass. It is pointing you toward a particular principle, and this is actually true north for health and well-being. So there will be golden nuggets of Ayurveda. I will not base anything just on my views or opinion. If there will be some particular view or opinion, I will straightforwardly tell you that it's my opinion. And we will cover the topic very comprehensively. When I say comprehensively, it simply means that you will be able to implement most of the principles and practices of Ayurveda that you can adopt while being at home. And whether it is related with health, disease, prevention, the concept of life, holistic nature, pathology, diseases, body-mind type, herbs, daily routine, seasonal routines, eating, nutrition, cooking, rejuvenation, detox, healing, cure, well-being, whatever you consider. I want to cover everything that are supportive of when you are taking Ayurvedic herbs and Ayurvedic treatment under expert supervision. So I meant this training to be supportive for the persons who are taking Ayurvedic treatment, and they can navigate their life. Most of the time, what happens, I have seen this practice. Maybe you have also seen, if you are taking Ayurvedic treatment from some physician, most of the time they are recommending some of the herbs and then giving you a very broad guideline that take these types of foods, avoid these types of foods. This is very generic information. Sometimes it is based upon the symptoms that you are having, and it is having a superficial value. And most of the people, they are not actually following it. Many people, they told me that we get this information in written and it is so tough that we have to avoid this, and they do not understand the underlying reason why they should avoid that. That's why it becomes very important for you to understand this entire framework of Ayurveda. And the beauty, as I mentioned, that the beauty of this system is that you will be able to experience it within yourself and you will be able to self-validate these concepts. So we are starting now with the concept of health. What is the concept of health? There have been many definitions of health, very primitive definitions of health. They started that we are a biological entity, that we are just a vegetative body that are having body that is having some organs, some organ systems, some tissues, and they are functioning. So this is very primitive concept of health. Later upon, they added that we are also having some mental or psychological aspects. So in place of physical well-being, they have physical well-being plus psychological well-being. Later upon, the importance of social well-being is also understood. We as human beings, we are all very social creatures and we need society. So there are some aspects of social well-being as well. Then the need for spiritual well-being is also understood. If you see that the definition of Ayurveda, this is one of the accepted definitions of health by World Health Organization. So you will be just knowing the beauty of this definition, and this becomes very important. This definition of health in Ayurveda becomes very important as it will be the fundamental. We will be evolving, we will be developing all the tools inside this training based upon this definition. And I would like you, I will introduce you with this definition and I will ask you just to know that this is not merely a definition of health. You have to introduce yourself with it that this is providing you 7 key indicators of well-being that you can use in your daily life to get a quick know-how where you are standing. So moving with it, so this is the way that I like to present it as 7 pillars and 7 indicators of well-being. Why am I saying pillars? Because we see that whenever we are having a huge structure, the structure is our health and well-being, prevention of different types of disorders or health issues. So if we want to have such a huge and beautiful building, we need to support it with some of the pillars. And these Ayurvedic concepts, these Ayurvedic practices, these work as pillar for your health and well-being, for the mention of your health and well-being. So first, you have to understand the word swasth. Swasth is used in Ayurveda for being healthy, for health. And it is a Sanskrit word, and there are two, like it can be divided into parts, swa plus stha. If you go into more detail about it, you will find that swa means self. I am as a person, a dynamic composite of body, senses, mind and awareness. Swa means self. Stha means rooted, established. So you see that health simply means our natural state, or Ayurvedic sages, they consider health to be the natural state of body and mind. That's why you can see that whenever we are getting sick, body and mind and all these just functions or the physiological efforts are in a direction to make us healthy, to get rid of those health issues. That's why Ayurveda considers health to be the natural state, and whenever there is some deviation from it, we have to make some effort. Body is also making some effort in healing and cure. We have to assist that process, and that will lead toward healing and cure. This is the actual definition of health. It is put forward by Acharya Sushrut or Sage Sushrut in Sushrut Samhita. This is one of the foremost books of Ayurveda, one of the foremost 3 or 4 books of Ayurveda. So this is very important definition. I will go into more detail about it. It is Sam Dosa, Sama Agni, Sam Dhatu Mala Kriya. This is the first part. It is related with physical and physiological well-being. The second part is Prasan Atma Indriya Mana Swast Iti Abhidhyate. So we will go into more detail about it. If you consider the first 4 factors, these are primarily related with the physical and physiological aspect. When I am saying physical, you consider it like structural or anatomical aspect of the human body, different organs, tissues. And when I use the word physiological, it signifies the functional aspect of the body, and both go hand in hand. There cannot be any structure in our body without any function, and there cannot be any function inside our body without the support of any structure. So this is the complete biological nature or biological entity, and these two are the dimensions of that biological entity of our being. What are these first 4 factors? These are dosas, Sam dosa, Sam Agni, Sam Dhatu, Sam Malakriya. When I say dosa, most of us understand it as Vata, Pitta and Kapha. We will go in depth about Vata, Pitta, Kapha or their practical understanding in the next session, but you have to understand these are some of the variables that are based upon certain qualities. And then there is Agni. Agni is considered the thermodynamic aspect inside our body, inside our physiology. When I say Agni, it has several dimensions. The first one, the most common one, is the digestive process. Sometimes it is known as digestive fire. Then there are other aspects of the Agni that are related with the metabolic processes of different tissues. And in this way, you see Agni as the word that resonates with digestive process and metabolic process. And then we have Dhatuj or different type of tissues that are making different organs. And fourth one is Malakriya. It is considered very important in Ayurveda. So whenever there is some functioning that is going on inside the body, there will be some types of excretory products or waste products that needs disposal. So proper disposal proper disposal of the waste products is very important. If you consider that we are eating something, then we are digesting it, some nutrients are absorbed, and then those nutrients are metabolized, and then the gross waste is passed out as stool or fecal matter. So this is the aspect. Yes. So this is the aspect that you need to consider. So with Malakriya. And then we have metabolic waste products also. So all those metabolites that are absorbed inside the gut and they are just processed through liver and different organs, then these are producing some type of waste products. These are primarily disposed through urine. Then sweating is another type of like waste, and we are also just excreting out carbon dioxide. It is also a metabolic byproduct of the process of cellular respiration. So all these becomes very important, and these will be some of the guiding factors, particularly in relation with the dosas. You will be able to understand how these are operating inside you, and you will be able to just experience it. As I told you that it will be very experiential in nature. The next three factors, these are very important and these are related with what we generally call mind health. So in Ayurveda, we have three things here: consciousness or awareness. This is pure awareness. Then we have mind. Mana is used here and it includes thoughts, feelings, emotions, moods. And then we have senses. There are 10 types of senses, 5 executive in nature and 5 sensory. So the functioning or the health of all these aspects, mind, senses and consciousness, it is very important if you want to have better health or you want to move toward healing and cure. And there are many just modern practices that are based upon these factors. So we will be going in depth about all of these. So when you consider these 7 factors as 7 key indicators or pillars of health and well-being in Ayurveda, there are 2 words that are very important. The first one is Samha. It is very important to understand it. This is the first key, and this is related with physical and physiological aspects. It is related with dosas, agni, tissues, and excretory waste. So, what does Sama means? Sama means dynamic equilibrium. You have to understand the concept of equilibrium. It is not a static equilibrium that there is certain just quantity of this material, certain quantity of this material, and these are static. These are not changing. Inside our body, whatever biochemical you consider, whether it is glucose, different type of amino acids, different types of fats, their blood levels, their presence inside the tissues, or the presence of calcium as a mineral inside the bone, all these are undergoing some type of dynamic influx and outflux. And this is a property of living beings. We do not have static equilibrium. There is always some sort of dynamic equilibrium. There is a related concept in modern medicine. It is called homeostasis. If you consider blood glucose level, there is a range within it. It is considered healthy. If it goes below a certain threshold or if it goes above a certain range, then we have some sort of problem. And this is true for many of the minerals, many of the, like, even if you consider on a very gross level, you have some muscles like here. If there is a certain proportion of muscle, when there will be just very little muscles, there will be loss of strength. There will be lot of muscles, then it will be out of proportion and indicating towards some disease also. So you have to consider that whether you consider physical aspect or physiological aspect, you need to have the word Samha in your mind, and it signifies dynamic equilibrium, which is a quality of all the living beings. The second key here is prasanna. Prasanna is a very important word. Most of the time, we understand, especially in the Hindi area, we understand by the word it means happiness, or some people call it simply joy. I went into just very deep study about this word. Then I found that it is made up of 2 words. Pra means superior. Sanna means a type of composure. So when you consider this word in context with health and well-being of mind, you will find it signifies the composed state of mind, senses and consciousness. This is the best way that I can find to describe this word. If you consider it simply happiness, this is a very poor choice. But if you find composure of senses, when there is composure of senses, these are stable, these are working in their natural state, in their optimal condition. And when your mind is composed, you are having clarity of thought, you are able to focus, you are able to feel, your feelings are positive, your emotions are good, leading towards productive life. And in similar way, your awareness, when it is composed, you have a very good self awareness, you can have a lot of introspection also, you can know where you are moving, what you are thinking or feeling, all that type of things. So composure of mind, consciousness and senses, this is the aspect, this is the second key if you want to have mind health. And this is true for mind health, all the aspects of the mind health. So you can consider Ayurveda. If you consider only these two aspects of this definition, first physical and physiological, second one is psychological, these two dimensions, you will find that Ayurveda is very much a body mind medicine. Some people also just have the third angle here, body, mind, and consciousness based healthcare. And if you consider the timing of this definition, this came around 2500 years back, at least 2000 years back. So there is enough documentation. You can see the thought process, the marvel of the thought process of Ayurvedic sages who put all these verses in Sanskrit language. And these are so much relevant even in present time. So it is very important for you to reflect, to have some deep consideration of this definition of health. And as I told you, that you can consider it as 7 key indicators of well-being. Or in this program, we will be taking this definition in a very deep and practical way, and we will consider it like 7 key indicators of well-being. And you can also consider it as 7 pillars of well-being. So I explained you why I have used the word pillar. Pillars are supporting a building, and this building is our health and well-being. This building is our effort that will lead us toward better health and toward healing and cure from chronic disorders. So now you have some understanding. You know two main concepts of health in Ayurveda. And now if we talk about the disease process or health issues, you should have in your mind two concepts that are based upon these two that we covered for the health. These are polar opposites of the health. And these are very broad concepts. It is better and relevant to put them here. And the first one is Vishamta. This means non-harmony. Most of the time this word is used in context with dosas, because dosas or vata, pitta, kapha, these are the ones that are easily disturbed, and these are the like primary focus whenever we are considering some disorder or particular organ or tissue. We have to work upon them. This is the way that you will be able, if you consider dosas, you will be able to utilize different types of herbs, home remedies, diets, and these dosas will be able to tell you what to use, how to use, how much to use. All these things becomes easy. So when we use the word Visham, it is primarily in context with dosas, but it is applicable to all other 3 factors that are dosas, Agni, Dhatuj, and Malakriya, excretory process. So it is relevant for all of these. And this is one of the just keywords that will be used in Ayurveda a lot. Dos Vaisamya or Vishamta of the dosas, or non-harmony of the dosas, or lack of dynamic equilibrium of the dosas. And you will be able to understand it in much more clarity in reference to your body when you learn about the concept of Ayurveda body mind type or dos prakriti. The second word is not prasanna. Yes, it means psychological health, that the mind, senses, and consciousness, it is not composed. There is some problem there. There is some like disturbance there. And definitely, this is a great word, again, non composure. And whenever you want to have a check, quick check on your mental health, you can just have with one word. Yes. Many times when we want to have a quick check on the physical health, we have to take care of lot many considerations. But mental health, this is the one key. At any point of time, if you see, just look at your mind from mind side, and if you feel that there is not a composure, there is not a composure even at a just very deep level, superficially you might be excited, everything, just the process of life is going on, we are engaged, but deep inside within us there should be small layer of composure, and this will keep all the mental aspects of health, and you can consider it to be psychological well-being or health. And in the next session, we will be considering some of the practical insight about five elements and dosas. So you have heard about the five elements like earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Primarily, we think of as the natural elements of which the outer world or universe is made up of. But when we are using these like five elements, these are very much related with dosage. Or you can say that to consider, if you want to consider five elements in your own context, then you will arrive at the dosage. The qualities of the five elements are taken and they are grouped into three, considering your physiology and psychology of biological entities or the life processes that are within us. And then we have five elements, one side, natural, natures, and then three dosas. So there is a bridge, and it is very functional concept here. Again, when we will talk about dosas, you will be able to relate with them. You will be able to feel that these are relevant for you, and you will be able to make use of these concepts, these practices in your daily life. This is the beauty, and definitely you will be moved toward better health. So finally, if you have any question about this topic, you can definitely post here in the comments. I will consider them and I will reply personally, and have better health and greater happiness now and always. Thank you. Namaste. Adopt Ayurveda and yoga now and always. Thank you.